Okay, so I want to do another Dvar Torah from the Kalover Rebbe shlita. It says that learning the words of the tzaddikim brings influence, and blessings, which is similar to making a pilgrimage to the grave of the same tzaddik that you're studying their Torah from. And he's basing his teaching on teaching from the Maranayim, a well-known teaching, and also in this week's Parsha, Parshas Terumah, Exodus 27, verse 19, it says, "In all of the pegs that held up the chotzer, the courtyard in the temple, were nechoshes. They were copper." So this is brought from the Holy Sefer Maranayim, the Chernobyler, the Menachem Nochem Tversky of Chernobyl, in the beginning of his Lakutim on Masechta Shabbos, that when a person learns the teachings of some Tana or Chochem, some rabbi from the earlier generations, this teaching, these words, are the life force and the brain of that person. And when a person speaks and teaches the words of a tzaddik, he's attaching himself and he's putting himself into the life force and the brain of the tzaddik that's in those words. And this is called the connection of one soul to another soul. And therefore it gives him life. It gives life to the one learning, and it gives a life to the one who is passed on to the next world. And because it brings the life into the words, it brings the words alive. It's like the story. There was a town. They said, they were trying to attract Jews to move there. They said, who's buried here? Rebbe Kiva Eger and the Chassam Sofer are buried here. And they said, what are you talking about? Rebbe Kiva Eger is in Poznan, the Chassam Sofer is in Preshburg. They said, no. In Poznan and Preshburg, they still learn the teachings. In Poznan, they still learn the teachings of Rebbe Kiva Eger. And in Preshburg, they still learn the teachings of the Chassam Sofer. Here, nobody's learning, so these tzaddikim are buried here. That's the story Rabbi Fishbein always tells all this outside. So, therefore, the Kalover Rebbe continues. So, but when we learn these teachings of the tzaddikim, we're keeping them alive, and we're bringing life into the words, and the words into our lives. And that's what the Chazal say in Yevamos. Daf Tzadik Zayin Amad Aleph. That when you learn the teaching from someone who passed on to the next world, the Torah teaching, their lips move in the grave. B'yidu hazeh divrei Baal Shem Tov nishmasei b'ginzei mereimim. The Baal Shem Tov taught something along these lines. V'nikru zu hishtachus al kivri tzadikim. And this is the same thing as making a pilgrimage to the grave of the tzaddik. When you study their words, it has the same effect as when you make a pilgrimage and visit where they're buried. Shehein Devreihem Shalom Medamazkir Hayom Halomed Ulakach Mechaya Meichin Shel Oisei Tzaddik Ayin Sham. So the Maranayim is saying the opposite of what the story says. They actually know when they can't say that they're buried there. I mean, I guess they're buried there, but they're not. Their kever is not there. The Indian of visiting, make a pilgrimage to the kever tzaddik, that is accomplished when you study their Torah as well. Like I remember Rabbi Weinberger taught this teaching once. They said, you don't have to go to Uman, you don't have to go to Mezhbish, you don't have to go to Lezhensk, you don't have to go to Yerushalayim, you don't even have to go to the Interborough Parkway. He said, there are a lot of tzaddikim buried by the Interborough Parkway. And he said, I know it's the Jackie Robinson Parkway, that's how I grew up speaking. You shouldn't think I'm a racist because I called it Interborough. So that's what Rabbi Weinberger said. So anyway, that's what the Maranayim brings. So the Kalover Rebbe attaches this teaching from the Maranayim to our parsha, where it says in the pasuk v'chol yistais hachotzer, all of the tent pegs of the surrounding courtyard. He said this refers to all the tzaddikim, all of the holy saints of the Jewish people, who are the foundations. They're what holds us together. They're what holds us up, like a tent peg. Like there's a newspaper called Yated Ne'aman. It means a tent peg you can trust. These are our tent pegs, are the tzaddikim, and these are the amudei achotzer. These are the pillars of the courtyard, Ha'olam Hazeh, in this world. We know this because it says in the Proverbs that Tzadik Yesod Olam, that the righteous person is the foundation of the world. Nechoshes was Nechoshes, copper. Heim Keteva Nechoshes Shemar Tamid Simoni Chias Alidesha Mazia. He says that copper looks like it's alive because it sweats. Rashi brings that in Deuteronomy 28:23, that when the sky would be copper. Also, the tzaddikim are also called constantly alive. Even when they passed on to the next world, they're still alive because they're awakening their life force when their Torah is being studied. Meaning, if we study from the Rebbe Melech, we're keeping the Rebbe Melech alive. If we study from the Kedushas Levi, we're keeping Berditchev Rav alive. If we're studying the Ben Ish Chai, we're keeping Ben Ish Chai alive. Study the Chavetz Chaim, we're keeping the Chavetz Chaim alive. And the tzaddikim bring blessings and goodness to the people who learn their teachings, which is just like they do when someone goes and makes a pilgrimage to their grave. So the Kalover Rebbe says, therefore, one should learn more of the Hasidic Sfarim, the books of Hasidism, of Hasidic philosophy, of holy tzaddikim, because you give life to them and you bring down to yourselves blessings. And he said this is hinted to in this verse where it says all of the tent pegs of the courtyard were copper, which could stand for L'chein kulam la'olam yilmdu tamid divrei Torah HaKadosha. Therefore, we should all constantly be studying, the words of our holy Torah, Chibur Tzadikim, Chiburei Tzadikim, Rishonim, the writings of the earlier Tzadikim, Noisnim Chaim Shalahem Tamid, and it gives them life all the time. What a schus we have a tzaddik like the Kalover Rebbe in our generation who writes such beautiful Torah. He should be well over a full shleima. Moshe ben Rezel should have a full shleima. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and comment. All the best.